Hi guys, this is Colin with Colin Talks Crypto. This video, or really more of an audio recording, is going to be different than my normal recordings. And I have to give it a preface because I'm going to talk about some S coins, some poop coins. And I just want it to be clear, this is not my general investment strategy. This is using a very small percentage of my portfolio, and I consider it more like a gamble, an intelligent gamble with decent odds. But I get people who will attack me for talking about anything other than Bitcoin. And I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, but I do hold a predominance of Bitcoin in my portfolio. And I also hold a lot of Ethereum in my portfolio. Altcoins make up a pretty small percentage, especially the lower market cap altcoins. Again, I consider them like high risk, high reward, short-term plays only, and they are not ever to be held long-term, never beyond one cycle. Because of my observation, altcoins tend to bleed against Bitcoin given a long enough time horizon. Usually more than one cycle, and your altcoin has bled against Bitcoin, almost always. So I don't want it to be misconstrued. I'm not promoting this as any kind of long-term investment strategy. I'm not even saying you should do it. I'm just sharing with you what I've done. And this is something that I'm doing currently. And I think that it's going to pan out well, but you have to do your own due diligence. Do not just copy this without thinking about it or researching. I view these altcoin trades as a way to hopefully gain more Bitcoin ultimately, gain more purchasing power. And like I said, I'm going to be selling these before the bull run is over. I'm not going to be holding these long term. So I just want this to be clear so that no one's confused about what I'm saying here. Thanks, and I hope you enjoy. Hey guys, I have two ideas for investments that I think are going to pan out very well. I think there's a good probability, not a guarantee, obviously, but a good probability that they will pan out well, that they'll both pan out well. There's an excellent probability that at least one of them will pan out well. And if only one of them panned out well, it would make up for the other one. So in that regard, it's a pretty risk lowering strategy to diversify into these two different assets. And these are actually two assets I've been invested in for a while. One of them is Pulse or PulseX. I'd recommend PulseX, PLSX. And I'll get into a few of the reasons why on that. And then the other one is Doge, DOG. And I'll explain that one as well. That one's the more recent of the two. But I've been watching the price charts of both of these, and I feel pretty high conviction on these two trades. Basically, they're both relatively low priced right now. PLSX is the lower price of the two, but they're both low priced. I'm not sure exactly when the perfect entry is. I think I'm going to guess within the next 2 weeks to 4 weeks maximum is probably going to be the ideal entry. But even if you bought not at the ideal entry, like you bought today, I think that these are amazing plays. And just to give you an idea of what I'm thinking, I think that DOG, which is now listed on Kraken, so now it's easy for anyone in America to buy. I think it can do it 100x. I think that PLSX or PulseX or Pulse, PLS, either one of those tokens, they're sort of interchangeable, could do 1,000x, up to 1,000x, because you have Richard Hart doing some marketing stuff behind the scenes. Yeah, I've been following kind of like the creator of this, both of them, and Richard Hart is creating some kind of a mass marketing. If you remember back from like the Hex days when we all got spammed these promotional mailings, I have a feeling behind that was Richard Hart. And we can get into the rightness or the wrongness of bulk spamming mail, but I would say on the rightness of it, it's a promotion effort that is effective. Like promotion is effective. There's not many coins out there that go on mass bulk mail schemes to get their name known out in the public. And he hasn't explicitly stated what he's got in mind, but there's enough clues. And I'll just drop it real quick here. So Richard Hart has basically stated that there's some kind of a device that is powered by a 2025 watch battery. He's got 4 shipping crates from China, or up to 4 shipping crates from China, that hold many hundreds of thousands of these devices. And the devices, we don't know what it is exactly. I suspect it's some kind of a hardware wallet slash educational source or video or something. I don't know exactly, but somehow it's obviously going to help his product, right? But I think it's some kind of blockchain educational product that is powered with a watch battery. And he's got the exact weight and the exact dimensions of it, but he won't say what it is because he's keeping it under wraps. And he says he's going to be launching this campaign in a couple of months. And the campaign itself could last for a couple of months. But the way I'm seeing it, timed with the stock market breaking new all-time highs, with Bitcoin near all-time highs, and if and when Bitcoin does break out of its current massive inverse head and shoulders pattern, the target's about $150,000 per Bitcoin. And that's huge for Bitcoin. That's a 50% gain. But that's not necessarily the kind of gain that you'd want to chase this far into the cycle. However, these other two tokens, the Dog token and PulseX token, they haven't really seen their massive altcoin run yet. And that's what everyone's kind of waiting for. When Altseason. So I think that the perfect storm is sort of gearing up for, this is slow motion, right? This is not like it happens tomorrow. This is start accumulating in the next couple of weeks, over the next couple of weeks, maybe maximum up to a month. Try to get some good low prices, try to buy some dips of these two assets. And I think they're going to go fucking huge. I think they're going to easily each see over 10x. That would be so conservative, easily over 10x each. But with what Richard Hart's doing for PulseX and Pulse, I think that those are going to go even more ballistic. He's got it's like 200,000 ETH treasury or something ridiculous from the sacrifice phase of when Pulse was launched, and he's sitting on this ETH, and he's going to use it to fund something like this product that he's got for promotion. And also he may eventually start doing kind of like buybacks where he buys the asset itself to pump it, which is exactly what he did for Hex. He's got a track record of both pumping his own assets and for marketing in the past. So I give that pretty high odds of happening and of being to some degree effective. I mean, he got tens of thousands % gain on Hex when he did the same strategy 5 years ago. So that's the two investments, Dog and PulseX, ticker symbol PLSX and DOG. And again, Dog, you can get on Kraken now. That's the easier one to get. For PulseX, you'd have to bridge some stable tokens or ETH over to Pulse Chain, which takes a half hour, and then you buy it using PulseX, the DEX over there. You buy the PulseX token itself. And if we can get, let's just say we get 100x out of PulseX instead of the 1000x I'm thinking. Let's say it's just a measly 100x. Well, if you put in 10K, you get $1 million out of it. That's worth it to me. That's worth the risk reward. And I don't feel like the risk is too bad on this one. Like, obviously, anything can always happen. You can always have a black swan. You can always have the recession finally rear its head. But I don't know. I just feel like the market's going to make everybody wronger than we ever thought possible in an upward direction first. And then, yes, there's going to be some massive crash. It's baked in some point. When the market gets overheated enough, you're going to have a crash. That will happen. The question is when. It's always a matter of timing. So I think that these are two like asymmetric bets, like lowish risk, very high reward. And like I said at the beginning, if only one of them pans out, and you only get a 10x, which is not what I'm saying for either of these, right? I'm saying way more than that. If you only got a 10x out of one of them and the other one went to zero, you would still have more money, way more money than you started out with in this investment. So Dog was released more recently. That's one of its plus points, I would say, because altcoins that are older, like older cycles, tend to not perform as well as the newer stuff, the new hype. And it's performed very well. Like relative to other coins, it actually looks like one of the better performing coins since the bottom, since the lows. Like every time there's a pump, it outperforms other memes and other tokens. In fact, most of the other tokens in my portfolio. So it's just a sign. Usually when a coin is strong like that, when you actually get like a bull market move up, like a big move, it's the thing that will move the most. And for Dog token, it's a free distribution. There was no insiders, there's no VCs, no exchanges were paid to list it. Kraken did so finally of their own volition, and they were smart to do so because they'll get all the trading fees. A completely free launch and fair launch. Like this dog token was completely fairly and freely launched. Dog token was released on the Bitcoin blockchain. That's unique. Bitcoin having the highest market cap. This is the first Bitcoin meme token. And I think that's part of why it's exciting. It's a first mover in that regard. It's like, Ethereum was the next major thing to be created after Bitcoin. And there's like Doge was the first major meme, but Doge is its own blockchain. Dog is the first meme token to ever have existed on the Bitcoin blockchain. So it's a first. It's not like your coin number 10 or something like that. Your coin number 1 in that regard. And because it's on the Bitcoin blockchain, some people think, I don't know if I agree with this point, but some people think that gives it sort of an advantage because you have the highest market cap coin securing it. You have Bitcoin securing it. So you have all the people who are interested in Bitcoin and Bitcoin maximalists and people who love Bitcoin may be more willing to buy a Bitcoin related meme, the first meme. And then lastly, in terms of market cap, actually there's 2 more points. So it has an insane social media presence, like an army of people who just love this thing. And they're very positive. It's actually an interesting group, very positive, but like, it's just very clear. Like whenever I make a post about dog token, I get like hundreds of followers. Like it's crazy. That doesn't happen with any other token. It happens a little bit with the Richard Hart tokens because that's also a huge community. And having a huge community is very important. Actually, there was a metric posted recently where dog token had a greater social interaction metric than Doge did.
I want to show you something. Here's Lunar Crush. You can go over here and you can basically organize. You go there on cryptocurrency tab and it's showing you all cryptos, just like you would go to CoinMarketCap. Like you see 1 to 100, Bitcoin, starting with Bitcoin. But you can organize by engagements right here. And what engagements is going to show you is basically pulling data from various social media platforms, and engagements is tracking views, likes, comments, retweets, and upvotes. So you scroll down just a little, and there is Dog, number 14, and 1 above Dogecoin, 2 above Cardano. Cardano has ridiculous engagement on socials, but we're talking about Dog. Okay, Doge is sitting above a 20-some billion dollar market cap. I think $23 billion. And Dog is outperforming Doge and Cardano in terms of engagement.
So it has recently had a greater social engagement score and community score than Doge, with about 1/40th, I think, of the market cap. That's insane. That's really insane. That points to a mispricing or an imbalance in pricing where the free market needs to sniff out the correct price, which I think will be much, much higher. I think that Doge will go up in the bull run, Pepe will go up more, and Dog will go up even more relative in price. Those are the reasons why I'm bullish on Dog token. By the way, neither of these are long-term holds. I would not recommend holding either of these beyond this cycle, beyond the next 6 to 8 months. Again, it's the time limit on this trade, just so you're wondering. So it's buy within the next 2 to 4 weeks, accumulate, and then sell within 8 months or less. That's the exact time frame of this trade to get 100 to 1,000x on either of these tokens. All right, guys, so that's everything I've got to share with you here. I hope that you found this interesting. I hope that it pans out well. Like I said, you have to do your own due diligence. You have to research this, verify what I've said, decide whether it makes sense to you. And if it doesn't, don't do it. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just sharing with you what I've done, and I hope it does well. Hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.